The Fred effect is built on the experience of an individual called Fred and the opportunity for this individual to assist thousands of people and the experiences gained from doing this. Hello, you're welcome to another episode of the Steady Abroad podcast with me, the Fred Effect. And on the Steady Abroad podcast, what we do is that people have already gone through the Steady Abroad process that you want to go through. How about getting to know how they did it, the universities they applied to, how much they spent on the process, what documents were required of them, what scholarship are they enjoying? Is it possible that you also apply to the same scholarship? And how are you going to do it? This is the reason for the Steady Abroad podcast. And we do this and every weekend. We come your way to let you know how you can also achieve this process. It might be complicated. It might be time consuming. Sometimes it's overwhelming. I understand. So on the Fred Effect platforms, what we do is that we make you understand this process in a more inspiring manner. We are not here to tell you that we were able to do it and you cannot do it. We are here to let you know that if we were able to achieve it, you can also do it. Remember, later on the program, I'll share the link on the various social media platforms so that you can join us. We are currently live on TikTok, the Fred Effect platform, live on Facebook, the Fred Effect, and on X or Twitter, the Fred Effect. On YouTube is the Fred Effect. This is the biggest Steady Abroad content platform. And thank you if you're tuning in on Instagram as well. And remember, that is the quickest way to get in touch with me. If you want to have a private conversation, you can send me a direct message on Twitter. This platform is close to have 1 million, across all our social media platforms on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, and also on Instagram. So get in touch, be part of this family. Now, every week, this is what we're going to do. So there will be a draw, and then all you need to do is to type the name we'll be using for the draw in the comment section. Let us know the questions you have, and we'll be happy to respond to them. And this is how you're going to enter the draw. You first of all have to like the video if you're watching us on any other platform. Like the video, put in the name that we are going to use for the draw, and also subscribe. If you're yet to subscribe, please click on the subscribe button. This is how you enter the draw, and then you'll be selected. So far, 2 people have been selected from our 2 previous episodes, and we have already begun conversations with them behind the scenes to start their process. Obviously, I'll be happy to bring them on the platform for you to know what actually went on and where they are in their process as well. So thank you for being part of this family, and we hope that by joining, you gain a lot of insights, ideas, you get your questions answered so that you can also be successful with your Steady Abroad process. We believe that it is highly possible, notwithstanding your current circumstance, your financial situation, or even your results. It is highly possible for you to do it. So I'm bringing my guests on, and then we get started. Hi, how you doing, man?
Hi, Fred. Hi, everyone. I'm good. How are you?
Thank you for your time, and we've been having conversations about doing this for some time now. So I'm glad you're finally able to pull up.
Yes.
So
I'm very excited to be here to be able to share my story
right,
on my study abroad journey. So yeah, thank you for
for
having me.
yeah, for the thousands of people seeing you for the first time, kindly introduce yourself.
So my name is Mary Ann Blagoji. I'm from Ghana. I came to the US in 2021. Yeah, and I'm currently working as a public accountant in one of the big fours. So yeah.
Right, and that's something I'm so happy about. So let's start with what were you doing back home? What was your academic qualification prior to relocating, and which country are you from? You mentioned Ghana, and which institution did you attend?
Okay, so just before I do that, Fred, I just want to say a big thank you to you because what you're doing is so valuable that I don't think anyone can pay you for your time. So thank you so much, and may God reward you because yes,
Amen.
yeah. So I had a Bachelor of Science in Accounting when I
Okay.
was in Ghana, and I did a few. Well, I did national service as Get Fund. I was in the accounts department, and then later I did something for an NGO, I think
Okay.
United Way, yeah,
Yeah.
for some time, and then I think I just did a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, a few of them were in accounting, so but nothing too technical. But yeah, just a basic.
So you had a bachelor's degree in accounting.
Yes.
And for some people who think that coming to study a business-related program in the US is difficult to get funding and all that, did you apply to accounting in the school you studied in, or you applied for a different program?
So I applied for a Master of Accountancy degree.
Let's talk about that because that's interesting. Did you have to sit for GRE, GMAT, or TOEFL, any of those exams?
Okay, so I think initially, so my study abroad journey kind of like, or the idea like was there for a long time before. I guess maybe I even went to, to do my bachelor's. So it's been there. So I was thinking about it, but not actively doing anything because I just wanted to finish bachelor's and then do my master's. And so I started that actively after 2019 when I graduated from, my bachelor's.
Okay. So do you remember the schools you applied to, and which one did you finally ended in?
Okay, so the interesting thing about this is, so my favorite person, Fred, my favorite person, I'll just use my favorite person for him.
Yeah.
So he started to help me scout for schools. And so we initially had one in mind. Okay. And so for that, I took TOEFL. I wrote TOEFL because I needed TOEFL for that. So when I was doing national service, I think the last year or the year I was supposed to complete it, I think, I took the TOEFL. And then I passed, and then but then later, by God's grace, we got another school through some connections of his. Okay. And so I just applied to one school basically.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
So what's the name of this school? And that's what mostly we want to do so that people will know the schools that people are applying to, and if it is possible for them to also apply to. And so was this school requiring the TOEFL, or you wrote the TOEFL just to start the application, but later on you decided on one school?
So I wrote the TOEFL for another school that we were going to, scout for, just because I was coming from Ghana, and I think most of the schools just need, that English. So, but then eventually I had to go with another school. So this school didn't need, I think had waived the GRE, GMAT, like all those requirements. I think was also in the like somewhere around COVID and all of that. So the school had waived all that, even evaluations, transcript evaluations. So I think for me the school did my transcript evaluation. I think after that they stopped and then would require you to do the evaluation yourself.
Okay.
So I didn't have to write GRE, GMAT, but then I wrote TOEFL because I was considered in that school before I found that school. And the name of the school is the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley in Edinburgh, Texas.
Oh wow! All right, so I'm trying to share my screen so we talk about the school. So this is the name of the school. I think that the person I had a conversation with last week also applied to the same school. So University of Texas Rio Grande Valley at Edinburgh in Texas, right?
Yes.
So if somebody is hearing about the school for the first time, you are an alumni. So talk to us about UTRGV.
So I think UTRGV was very supportive, especially as it was just I came to the US in 2021, which was just when COVID was, I think it was still there basically. Okay. So they were very supportive. I think my first semester was mostly online classes. The school was very supportive in terms of funding, in terms of making sure that you're able to, attend your classes and take your exams, whatever you needed to be able to be successful in your program. The school was very supportive.
What most people want to know about, when they want to apply to business-related programs, would they get funding? So I guess my next question is, how was the scholarship situation like? Even though you didn't write the, GRE, and you said that the TOEFL was also not required, were you sponsored by the school, or did you get a scholarship from the school?
Yes. So for me, I thank God. I had two scholarships.
Okay.
I had a sustainability scholarship that required me to do a research for the department, the
Mhm.
sustainability department for a year, and then also had a graduate research assistantship.
Okay.
So all making like two, which brought my deficit to somewhere like 7,000, I think.
Oh,
Or
okay.
yes,
I see.
yes. And for the sustainability fellowship scholarship, I had to write an essay
Hmm.
to the department to apply, and so I was selected by God's grace, and then yeah, I had it, and then also the graduate assistantship. Yes, I applied for it.
Right. So did your scholarship come automatically, or it had to, you have to gain the admission and later on apply for it?
Yes, you have to gain the admission and then later on search for all these funding opportunities and then apply.
How many years was your program? So most business related courses are just a year and a half. Um, how many years was your program?
I would say a year and a half, but we typically say 2 years. But
Oh, I
when you
see.
calculate it, I think it actually takes like a year and a half, like basically. But yeah, I'll just say
Right.
2 years.
Great. If you're just tuning in, I'm speaking with Mary Ann, and she's sharing her study abroad process and journey with us. This is the first time I think I'm bringing a business, related person, and she is amazing. She has gone through the process, was able to get her visa approved, had a scholarship, even though most people think that you need a GR. Most people think that you need a GRE or GMAT to be able to get a scholarship. She was able to. She's sharing her school with us. Interestingly, applied to only one school, and she was able to get in. So this is how you can join today's giveaway. So every week we'll be selecting one person. If you have a high school or diploma qualification and you want to apply for a bachelor's degree, if you are being selected, it means that the Fred Effect team will handle your application for free. On the other hand, if you have a bachelor's degree, a master's, or you intend to apply for a graduate program, there's something we call the Fred Effect Mentorship Program, which for more than half a decade we've been doing this and has assisted thousands of people. So at the moment, because of the number of people and the time, if you want to join any of this, you should schedule a meeting, which is a paid one. But if you are selected in the draw, the team will assist you for free. So this is how you're going to enter the draw. I want to share that with you real quick. And this is what you do. You will have to first of all subscribe, or if you're watching on Facebook, you click on the follow button, and then you would like the video and type the hashtag the Fred Effect, in the comment section. So if you type the hashtag Fred Effect, so about 26 people have already done that. So you subscribe or you follow, you like, and then you type hashtag the Fred Effect. So, after the session, we will do the draw and, select one person who we will get in touch with and assist for free. I think this is an amazing opportunity. Tell a family member. Some people complain, Fred, I can't pay to book their meeting, which is absolutely fine. This is an opportunity for you as well. So you do that, and then later on, when we do the draw, we tell you who is being selected. All right, Mary, let's go on. So, what was the decision that I should apply to only one school, even though I have an opportunity to apply to multiple schools? Do you think that if you had applied to more schools, it would have sort of been more reliable compared to putting your eggs in one basket?
Definitely yes. Definitely yes. I guess for me, I don't know whether I would say I was just so sure that I was going to get it because
Yeah.
I like, not to brag, but I think I kind of had the grades I needed to get in. So yeah, but I think the best thing to do is to definitely consider, I
Applying
mean,
to.
yeah, a lot of schools or a couple of schools that align with your interest, and then the career path you're choosing or anything like, or what you're interested in, and then it will always be reliable that way, because if one does not, pick you, the other does, right? Because
Yeah.
I've spoken to a lot of people that have applied to like a couple of schools, but some give them the admission and some do not. So in that
Mhm.
case, you will be safe. Imagine, imagine I didn't get in. That would be
Yeah.
like shattered my dream at that point, and then I would have to like, now go back to look at other options. So
Did
yeah.
you have to pay an application fee for this school?
So because most of my things were done around the COVID, or like it started pre-COVID and then entered COVID, and so my application fee was waived. I didn't have to pay an application fee.
Oh wow, interesting. So but I don't think University of Texas is waiving application fee now, are they?
I'm able to confirm that, but I'm not sure because I think it's post-COVID.
So if you didn't pay, was it that it was automatically waived, or you had to link up with the school to ask them to waive it for you?
So for mine, it was automatically waived, but then I would definitely advise that before you probably like apply to a new school, after selecting all the schools you want, pay your course or your career path or whatever you're interested in, you should definitely reach out to the program director or coordinator, express your interest in the program, and then ask them for funding opportunities. Just do your basic background research, and then if it's possible that they can waive the application fee for you. I think some schools would. So
right. So one of the interesting thing about your journey is during the COVID era, the difficulty in getting a date. Right now, a lot of people are also complaining about the same thing, that I'm not getting an interview date. Share your experience with that. It was COVID era. Embassies were closed. How then did you get an interview date to be able to go for at least something to let the people who are not getting dates now understand that it is feasible, it is possible, they will definitely get a date?
So getting dates, that's, I don't know, but okay. So I just get it. I just think it's a lot of commitment to what you are doing, because I was really committed. I actually wanted to leave Ghana because it was something that I had been planning for so long.
Yeah.
And so I knew that it was time for me to leave. And so whatever it took for me to, whatever it took reasonably for me to, commit, and then to what I was doing was what I did. I know that there were times where you'll be monitoring the date multiple times in the day, during the day, at night. You join a lot of groups, date hunting groups to look for dates and all of that. So I think the baseline probably would be commitment and being determined for what you have chosen to do. It is really difficult. The process, I think, takes you through all the emotions that exist in the world. So
how many visa application fees did you pay for?
Okay, so I think I paid for 5.
Why were you denied 5 times at the embassy? Why did you pay for 5 visa application fees? What were you using them for?
So I said earlier that like I actually knew that it was time for me to leave because I knew that after bachelor's. So a little backstory: I always wanted to pursue my master's in the US. Yeah, so that was there, and then I knew that after bachelor's I was going to leave, but then I wanted to complete my national service just so that if I went back to Ghana to do something governmental, I was still qualified to do that. And so I was just trying to lay the foundations for like my future career aspirations and all of that. And so during my national service, I started working on my applications, doing whatever I needed to do to get prepared to leave, right? But when when airports or like the countries opened up after COVID, it was so difficult to get a date that I think what we're doing was you would apply for a regular date and then apply for an expedited.
Yeah.
So in applying for expedited, the first time I would try to apply for an expedited was somewhere like October 2020. Yes. I was denied. So before then, I was in a group, like a UTRGV group that a professor had created for us. And so I was getting a lot of information from there, and I knew people who had already, gotten their I mean, visa days, some are even interviewed.
Yeah.
So I didn't reach out, like, this is what I'm going through. And so and so then I linked up with some people, and then they gave me, they helped me write the expedite. I actually thought it was the message I wrote or the content of what I wrote, right? Then we tried again. It was the same thing. I'm like,
All right.
what are we
So,
doing wrong?
for people who do not understand, and now the portal has changed. So a couple of
Okay.
things have changed. But the old portal, that's the old visa application portal. If you pay for the visa application fee, which is also known as the MRV fee, and then you put in emergency request, you are eligible for only one emergency request. So in her case, she puts in the emergency request and she gets denied. And she go and pay for another visa application fee and then puts in another request again. So the denial was how many times? Is it 4 times or what?
I think it was a five. I think it was five. because so I kept getting denied like that, and so
Yeah.
between October and December I had bought 5 MRVs, and like
Wow.
a big shout out to my favorite person because he was the one helping to buy all those MRVs. I mean, I was just a national service student.
Yeah.
Personnel. How much were they paying us, right? So, like, that is one aspect that probably we'll talk about later. Like support, having a supportive system is like so important. And so, yes. So even the fifth one, I got denied the fifth one, so I didn't have any option of emergency request, right?
Yeah.
So in I think January, February of the next year, 2021, then I got a date for
Oh, I see.
July 2021.
Yeah.
I think on the first or something. Oh, so I was happy because I knew that I would have to buy a new MRV if I was going to, apply for a new expedited.
Yeah.
So I was really grateful that I had gotten that date.
Right.
Right.
So if you are going through the process and you've gotten your emergency request denied, don't worry. This has happened before, and certainly you'll be fine. So even the COVID era, people were able to get dates. Right now, at the moment, there are no dates. The embassy changed their system, and it looks like it's a big deal. But understand that people have been there before. They've been through this process that you're going through. And Kwame is saying, shout out to your favorite person. Shout out to you too, Kwame. Thank you. All right. So I'm talking to Mary Ann. Mary Ann had a business background on a full scholarship to University of Texas at the Rio Grande Valley. The city is called Edinburgh. We showed the website of the university. So if you're interested, you can also check through their website and apply. Now, if you are just joining in, you're not late. Remember that this session will still be live across all the Fred Effect social media platforms after we finish with the session, so you can rewatch it at any point in time. We are doing a giveaway every single week, picking one person, and continue to have impact on people's lives. So you want to join, just type hashtag the Fred Effects. You remember that you need to type it exactly as it appears on the screen. So hashtag, the T is capital, the F is capital, and the E is capital, but everything is written together. And if you have questions, we'll be happy to respond to them. So you put them in the comment section. I'll be reading them as well. So let's move on. So so to set the record straight, you only had one interview and you got an approval, or you had to go to the interview multiple times. What was your case?
Okay, so for the main interview, it was just one, and thank God I got approved. Yeah.
What do you think helped? Because there are some people, they are very frustrated now because they've been there twice, 3 times, and it's not going as expected. What worked for you? Was it your school, your program, your scholarship, or how you spoke? How you dressed that day? What worked for you?
Okay, so I actually think that this whole process is very good to look at this whole process holistically than trying to do everything on its own.
Right.
So I guess a lot of things just helped me on that day, right? From trying to prepare really well. Of course, we cannot, or I cannot deny the God factor. That
Right.
is like the major thing for me.
Okay.
But also I really just think that we also have a part to do, like almost every time. And so I would say that your guidance through mock interviews, listening to people, it all built up your confidence. Personally, I was so scared of the embassy.
Yeah.
Even when I drove past the embassy, oh my god, I would be so anxious. But listening to people's reading people's transcripts, listening to people, listening to you, the guidance, the coaching, and everything, I feel like holistically just helped me go through my interview.
I see. All right. So my next question would be: would you be able to quantify how much you spent on this whole process? Thankfully, you have someone supporting, but for someone who wants to have a business background like Mary, a young lady trying to make life better for themselves, how much do you think you spent on this entire process? If you're supposed to pay application fees, visa application fee, and then service fee.
So back in my time, I think I forget the
Yeah.
the MRV fee, but looking at the fact that I bought it 5 times for someone who might go through that alone would be like, I think almost in the 3,000s, 4,000s, I think, because almost every one I bought was almost $1,000 with the charges and everything. So let's say 5 times, like, that is just 5,000, right? Let's just 5,000. Let's cap it there, 5,000, and then MRV fee was. The service fee was
350.
But yes, so and that is in dollars. We have not converted it.
Yeah.
So and then
you earlier mentioned the MRV fee to be $1,000. It's rather 1,000 Ghana cedis.
1,000 Ghana cedis, yeah.
But as I speak to you, I think it's around 2,000. Somebody should let us know in the comment section how much is it. It is 2,000 Ghana cedis now, and that is $185 in case you're watching us in a different country.
So yes, so like looking at the fact that I bought it 5 times, because there are people who might go through similar things that like I went through. So definitely they might spend that much. And then like flight ticket, I think my flight ticket was somewhere $2,000, $2,000 because it was a straight flight. I mean, shout out again to my favorite person.
Yeah.
So yes. In Ghana cedis, Fred, we are talking about lots of Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
So it's 20. I don't think 20,000 would do it, but I think the most important thing is you don't have to pay all these monies at once, right? So
exactly.
At least it helps. So maybe you could think about 30,000 because of the rate, the exchange rate. So in Ghana cedis, if you don't take care, you might pay close to that. Like in everything, or close to that, close to 30,000 Ghana cedis, or even more. So yes.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, starting with applying to University of Texas Rio Grande Valley for free, and you mentioned that no test scores were required. So in the beginning, all you need is your document in order to put in the application, and then when the admission and scholarship comes, you go on from there. So Eugene is asking, and I think you've responded to this question, that please, did she get the assistantship from the accounting department? And how do you respond to this, man?
So I think my graduate research assistantship was from accounting department, because it was the grants department. I think they just manage because the school does a lot of research, that accounting department manages the grants that professors get to do their research. So my assistantship was from the grants department, I think, of course, in the accounting department. And then my sustainability fellowship, it's a department on its own.
Right.
So I applied.
So what it means is that you worked for 2 different departments.
Yeah. So for sustainability, all I had to do was like do a research for them on a topic for a year. But even with that, they guide you and go with you along the process. So it's really there's a lot of support even with that.
Yeah, and one thing I love about UTRGV, tell us, you were there, how's the Ghanaian community, how's the African student community in the university?
It's amazing.
Yeah. Shout out to Vincent. I don't want to leave anybody out. So I've forgotten most of the names and they will kill me anyway. So I don't want to leave anybody. You will be able to mention all the names, right?
Well, there was Godwin, there was Emmanuel, there was Dominic, like a lot of people.
Yeah, there are lots of family
Yes.
at ETRGV.
Yes, and the good thing is I still, well, Vincent, we are very, like, I mean, we are very good friends.
Yeah.
I mean likewise the other people I mentioned, but you
Mm,
know, Vincent and I, you know, had to go the following, and I think fall or something. So I think we
exactly.
kind of built like a stronger bond than
Yeah.
the people who went ahead of us. And so the Ghanaian committee was amazing to the extent that they would share, I mean, food,
Mhm.
like groceries, help us with that.
Oh,
I mean, always bring us together on holidays, try to, you know, organize parties, try to organize, I mean, small parties for us on, I mean, everyone's birthdays. So I can say like there was just a lot of support from the Ghanaian community that was in UTRGV.
If you were supposed to talk to your younger self or advise yourself or start this process all over, what would you have done differently? So there's this young girl watching you who feel like, okay, I want to study the same program and study. Like, what should they do different? What would you have done differently if you were supposed to start again?
Okay. I don't think I would have done a lot of things differently because
Yeah.
mine was very intentional.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, I told you I always had a dream to study
Yeah.
in America. So it has been very intentional. So that is one thing. Be very intentional. It is not just you paying money or you wanting to leave the country. This is something that is going to turn your life around like so much. And so be very intentional. Number one. And then number two, which is something I learned from you, I mean, through mock interviews, I mean, trying to also do mock interviews, will be before you apply to any school at all, like it doesn't matter if it's the US or even like Canada or like anywhere,
Yeah.
reach out to program coordinators,
Talk to someone.
professors, departments, express your interest. That way you would have built a bond, or you would have at least introduced yourself to one professor
Mm-hmm.
or a coordinator who can probably like talk on your behalf when it's time to probably issue scholarships or even issue admissions.
Yeah.
And so issue, like, I mean, reach out to program coordinators and professors, express your interest, and then inquire of funding opportunities. It's very
Yeah.
important because that is one place where people get stuck. And I
Mm-hmm.
always tell people who come to me, like the few people that I've spoken to about like this journey, I would always tell you, don't think of the this whole process like haphazardly, like try to
Yeah.
think of it holistically. So right when you have the idea, think about what or how your interview will be like,
Mm-hmm.
what you will say at the interview,
Yeah.
because whatever you do like from the beginning just builds up to your interview.
Exactly.
And so you should be like very thinking like very holistically about the whole process, because when you start, everything just like affects the other thing.
Yeah.
It's very integrated, and so you'd want to like do that, especially because imagine reaching out to a coordinator who already knows you and then tells you, oh, you can apply, there's just funding somewhere here. And
Mm-hmm.
then once you put in the application, you can go back to the coordinator and let them know, oh, I applied. So the coordinator or the professor has you in mind and is already looking for some ways to help you get funding or scholarships.
That's true.
And so I think that is a game changer. That
If,
is a game changer.
if you had not attended UTRGV, being in the US for some time, which school would you have gone to?
Wow, there's something I've not really thought about. But which school? I don't think I know any school on top of my head, but then
Yeah.
I think I would have chosen a master of accountancy that had the STEM elements, because there are some
Oh, okay.
schools that have the STEM, like that have the master of accountancy being STEM. I think, for example, is it
Oh, I
University of
see.
Florida?
So for those who don't understand what STEM is, so in the US, you can either have a science, technology, engineering, mathematics program, which is considered as STEM. And one of the major benefits of this is that after you graduate, you have 3 years of optional practical training, which is you can work in the US for 3 years. So yours was a non-STEM, right?
Yes.
Okay, I see. Awesome. There's this shout out to Lomi. Lomi is asking, Fred, do you have old people who have gotten admission and scholarship? Because all the people you have I've seen on your podcast are younger people. Okay. And you know any older person?
Yeah, I think I might have interviewed done mock interview for a
Yeah.
couple of people
Yeah.
who were like older.
So I think I'll try. I'll try and bring. And sometimes most of the people I bring, maybe they don't mention their age. They are old though. So yeah, I think I'll try and bring some of my old friends. But yeah, there are lots of people
Well,
who,
I think I can give you a name, Fred. Backstage.
yeah, yeah. There are lots of older people. Maybe they are not they don't want to be on camera, stuff like that. So yeah, but let me I think thanks is a good one. Thanks for reminding me. I'll try and talk to some of my old friends, so that I'll bring them on. Okay, so let's move on. Let's talk about your visa interview. You're going to study accounting. You apply to only one school, and a lot of people think that if you're being asked that, how many schools did you apply to? Even if you applied to one school, you have this experience. Were you asked that question? And if not, like, how should people approach it?
I don't think I was asked that question.
Yeah,
But how should people approach it? I think sometimes being truthful helps.
yeah,
but but sometimes I think that would be the focus of this podcast, right?
yeah,
If you're someone who is yet to start the process, you know that it is always good or better to at least apply to a couple of schools, if not one, two.
yeah,
And actually, there are schools that waive applications. I mean, Fred always posts links to schools that are waiving applications, so you don't have to really go to a school that is taking application fee by hook or crook. There are schools
mhm,
that waive application fee, especially for the like masters courses. There are unless it's PhD. As for PhD, you definitely have to pay application fee. But for masters, that some schools waive it. So I think you should just put in the work. When you put in the
mhm,
work, you will find those schools that are waiving application. You can reach out to program coordinators. Some are
yeah,
willing to help, and some
yeah,
actually
exactly.
help, and then waive the application fee for you. So just be very intentional and be very committed to what you are doing. That is the thing. And so just apply to a couple of schools just to avoid, going to lie at the interview when they ask you if for example, if only applied to one school, but you go and say, "Oh, I applied to two." I mean, it's not bad. I'm not encouraging that. I don't think I encourage that. But if you are yet to start, then you are actually very lucky because you are watching this podcast, and so you are getting the information. And that is one thing that a lot of people or a lot of us didn't have before we started the process. And so you are lucky to be here today. So just take advantage of that and then apply to a couple of schools just to avoid lying at the interview.
Yeah, so this is one of my senior men, Collins Adisa. Shout out to you. Maybe he can. Yeah, I think we should have a session. I'll reach out and then we arrange for something. So he is a bit mature and older than some of us, and he was able to go through the process. His story is very encouraging. Try to bring him on sometime. All right. So for people preparing for the visa interview, what would be your advice to them? And if you could, remember some of the questions they asked you, how you responded to them, which of course, since you're here, ended up, getting you the visa approved. What would be your suggestions or advice to anybody preparing for the visa interview?
Be intentional. I know that I keep saying that, but it's very important. And for it to get to that point of your process, that means you've dedicated so much energy, time, tears, money.
I like that.
Money, oh, because I cried. But
Yeah,
yes, thank God. So be intentional and be committed to what you're doing. Be determined. Don't give up too easily.
yeah,
Don't. I know, trust me when I say I know that the process is difficult. I know it
yeah,
because I think I've gone through all the emotions there is to go through when you're going through this process. So I
yeah,
definitely know what I'm talking about. Be determined. Don't give up too easily. Keep keep on to hope. And fortunately, you have people like Fred, Robbie Kingsford.
yeah. Shout out to
Who,
Kingsford. I think Kingsford was part of your batch, right?
yes, he was.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to Kingsford.
Yes, he
Amazing
was.
guy. Yeah.
And so now it will be easy for you to get information that a lot of us didn't have before we started. And so it makes everything so much more easier. And so just be committed and be determined with what you're doing, because you spent money. You don't
Yeah.
just want to just get there and then so just be very, very committed to what you are doing. And at the interview, I know that a lot of people sometimes when you read transcripts and all of that, some people, it brings you a lot of fear and everything. So I had,
Exactly. Yeah.
like, once again, I would say intentional, because I had to be very intentional about that. I mentioned earlier that even when I drove by the US embassy, I'll be so anxious, be so scared, be shaking for reasons I don't know. But then one day I just had to, I think after one of the interviews or reading some transcripts on a particular day, I was so scared. I'm like, okay. So I just had to really psych my mind, very intentional about it, and tell
Yeah.
myself that these people are just human beings like I am. They are doing their job, and it's like just going to a teller in a bank
Mm-hmm.
to do a transaction. Communicate, just have a conversation with them. it
Yeah.
might it might be like it's a question and answers thing, but it's a conversation. You said you
Exactly.
are going somewhere, they just want to know what you're going to do,
Mm-hmm.
how you survive there, because it's not all that rosy here, but then it's still
Yeah.
better than
Mm-hmm.
Ghana. I mean, of course, you don't expect to spend 20 something years of your life in Ghana and then get here and then just be, plucking monies everywhere and then have a
Yeah.
and so everything is just a process, and it eventually gets better. Once you settle in, it eventually gets better. And so this has psyched my mind that okay, this is me.
Mm-hmm.
Someone might go and be denied, but I would go and I would not be denied.
I
And
like
so
this. Kindly repeat that. Kindly repeat what you just said.
so
Because
I
I
had to
think
say
people
to
really
myself,
need to think this in India. When I was coming from Bole Bamboy to the embassy, I said I'm not going back to Bole Bamboy without a visa. Just get that positive mentality that, I have the same scholarship, I have the same situation, I'm going to the same school. The person did not get a visa. That is not me. I'm going to go there and get approved.
yeah. I prayed a lot, and then I finally told because the Bible said God has not given me a spirit of fear. So why should I
Yeah.
go and be afraid of another human being? They are doing their job. And so I told myself, anything that does not look like my visa on that day
Mhm.
is not my business. And so I was like, if someone will go, they will be denied, but I
Mhm.
will go and I will receive my visa, and then there is no one who is permitted to deny me a visa. So just being really positive, and then concentrating, focusing on the positive side of everything, it's a big game changer that you might underestimate, but it actually is. And so
Yeah.
just believe in yourself. Like Fred would say, if it's God that you worship, whatever you think you worship, just make sure you call on that data or entity that
Yeah.
day, and then be confident. I am the most shy person you would ever meet.
Yeah.
My confidence level is not something I can really boast of. I'm working on it, but for that particular day, I was surprised at myself because I was just so confident. I went in, it was my turn. Like I said, anything that didn't look at my visa was not my business. So
Right.
if you were being rude to me, that is totally your business. I
Mhm.
don't care. You are not the reason why I came to the embassy today.
Yeah.
And so I
Especially
was
they say
just
there are some people in front of the embassy, stuff like that. They shout at people and stuff. But it doesn't matter.
Mhm. I was
Yeah.
just so focused that nothing could take my attention from what I was doing, and I just had all my eyes on God, because I was like, God, we've gone through so much, and
Yeah.
at this point, just let your will be done.
Yeah.
Okay. And so it got to my turn. So that the funny thing is, I kind of had a dream. Not like I kind of had a dream. I actually had a dream that my visa was approved, right?
Wow. Okay.
And but by a man. And so when I got to the embassy that day, of course, we heard stories about who approves and who denies, and so that's
and,
what you know
and I think your time, people were saying there's a bald man.
about my
Right now, the situation has changed, and I keep on telling people in the current mock interview, and for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, And God bless Mary Ann. After you get going through the process, you've still been supportive to our brothers and sisters who have been joining the mock platform, interviewing them and stuff like that. It's not easy, your time and all that. God bless you. I really appreciate that. And most people have their life impacted. So we do have this Fred Effect mock platform that has existed for more than half a decade. So we've been doing things backstage for a very long time, even before coming on social media. And your time there was about man, but this time around they said there's another person. So I keep on telling people that at any time there has been a different view, go there, get it approved. That's all you need to do. Yes. It doesn't matter.
Yes. So for example, so in relation to that, so there was the bald man. So I just wrote all these things down. The bald man, like, the bald man. You don't have. I mean, I'm not permitted to deny me. So it was just things to make me focus on the positive side.
Yeah.
Because I would pray a lot and then all of that just to make God help me, because of course, I mean, I'm a very shameless God girl. And so yes, I would do that. But then on the human aspect, I know that Fred, you would say sometimes that, I mean, make sure you're doing everything humanly possible to make sure, like, I mean, there is nothing on the human aspect that would go faulty. I mean, it's not as if God can help you or favor you and everything, but God would always do his part.
Yeah.
But you also must make sure so it doesn't mean that you just go ahead and then do everything haphazardly, go and stand there talking anyhow, and then, because there is God, then you'll be giving. I mean, do your human parts, like be very meticulous, be very intentional about the whole thing. So it got to my attention. So I wanted to go to the man instead of whoever was available. Right. So there was someone in front of me. The person was just not going. I'm like, go, I need to go to this man. He's the one who my But as God will have it, I went to a lady, a very beautiful lady, So I got there. I think I introduced myself. I asked her how she was doing. I think initially she didn't answer. Then I asked her again that, how are you doing? And then she was like, she responded. And then she asked me where I was going. I told her. She asked me what I was going to do. I told her, and then she was like, she can see that I have funding from this and this and this. How am I going to? I told her that, I had an uncle here who is going to sponsor me. And then, so at that point, I think I'd have probably kept quiet. But you know that on the mock interviews, we always encourage that if you still have relevant things or relevant information that would help the viewer to approve your visa, you should say it. Exactly. So I just went ahead, mentioned my uncle's job, where he works, his wife, his family, and then it didn't even last for I think more than 10 minutes or even less. Wow. So so just you don't have to volunteer information that the viewer doesn't need, but enough relevant information enough for the viewer to be able to, approve your visa, because of course she needs to know, she needs what you are saying to know whether to approve you or not. So sometimes it's really important that we are able to give the viewers the information they need, not like you have voluntary information, but there are just some information that the viewer needs to be able to approve your visa. So those things, I think it should be easy for you to your school's name, where your school is, how you're going to pay your fees, who's going to sponsor you, your deficit, when you will complete, what you intend to do after graduation and everything. I just think those are very relevant information that the viewer needs, and that you should be able to, provide.
Yeah, awesome. So it's been a very insightful session with Mary. She's a good friend, so we vibe, and she's explaining to you how her process went and how you can also do it. Very inspiring. If you're supposed to talk to a young lady back in Ghana, knowing what you went through, has it been worth it? Would you advise anybody to also go through this process?
Of course, starting from my degree, my Master of Accountancy degree, because I mentioned that I'm a public accountant in the US. And so to be a public accountant in the US, you need some credits I was able to take their CPA. It's kind of different from CPA, Certified Public Accountant in the US, they will call it in Ghana, Institute of Chartered Accountants, CA. So Ghana does it differently. For Ghana, you can straight out of high school, right? CA, and then you're a CA. You don't have to have a bachelor's degree. But here you need to have 120 hours to take the exams, 150 to get the license, even after taking the exams. And so my whole process was again very intentional, because the end goal was to be a CPA. So I knew that being able to take the Master of Accountancy program would help me get the 150 credit to finally take the CPA. And so starting from there, I mean, knowledge is always more knowledge. Knowledge and more knowledge is always very valuable.
Okay.
That sometimes we want to acknowledge. And then the second thing would be the support systems I've built, the friends
Mm-hmm.
I've built. Talk about Vincent,
Yeah.
Kingsford, Prince,
Shout out to
Drip
Prince.
Lord.
Yeah.
I call him, we call him Drip Lord. But
Yeah.
Prince, Naneni, like, and a lot more people. These are Emmanuel, like my
Yeah.
boss. I'll try like
Yeah.
shout out to Emmanuel,
Shout
like
out to
my boss.
Emmanuel. He was on the podcast the other
Yes.
time.
And he
He's a
played a very
fantastic guy.
instrumental role. Yeah, he played a
Yeah.
very instrumental role in my getting my job. And this was someone I had not seen prior to like relocating to like Ohio for my
Exactly.
job. And
Yeah.
so I just wanted to tell like don't don't let go of people. Like don't maybe because I had no people who get here and then like they don't talk to you anymore, like they don't even
Yes.
text you like anything.
So
That
if
when
you're watching us and you're confused, what Mary is talking about is that we had a mock interview platform that we were using to prepare for this visa interview. Of course, shout out to Fred Effects. And then the family, that when people get a visa, we also have another platform that we put them on, and then we assist ourselves. So these are the connections Mary is talking about that continue to be beneficial, including her getting her job, when she got here. So shout out to Emmanuel. God bless him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Prince, Naneng, Vincent, like I really talked to these guys on a very close intervals.
Yeah.
And these are people I've never seen before. But
Emmanuel is currently at Princeton, right? He's doing a PhD.
Naneng. Yeah, I call him Naneng. Sorry, I know he's Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Yes, he's at Princeton. And then like so these relationships are very valuable and important to me because even at your lowest, you are able to call them, talk to them. Oh, this is what is going on. They talk to you, give you advice on a lot of things that you might not have found out yourself.
Yeah.
And so that is one thing I really want to tell like everyone who wants to come from Ghana to like the US. Don't just let go of people. Don't discard people. Even when like they help you with your process, or even when you get here, because I always tell my friends that there is one thing that a lot of international students don't know or take for granted. That is like information.
Yeah.
There are just so many things in this country that all you need is information, and then you're good to go. Like you wouldn't struggle so much.
Yeah.
So Fred, like you, I have the connection with you. I know that there are sometimes that I reach out to you for help and so many things, and like thank you really. Like every time I've reached out, like even when we've not spoken for the longest time, you still like are able to help me out. And so with all these other connections, like I'm very very grateful to them, and I've not even seen them before.
Exactly, that's the point.
Yes, and so I know there was one time that Naneni sent me money. Sent me money, and so it's very important. You need the support. You need the information, most importantly, because there is something that I recently had to do, and Emmanuel, Emmanuel had like played a very important role in it. Even after like helping me get my job, like even after that, we talk almost every time. If I needed something or a question, even on my job, I would call him because he was in that career, right?
Yeah.
And so like it's just very important, and then like it never goes out of like fashion. So it's very important that you keep these support systems and build on these connections and relationships.
Yeah.
And then another thing would also be, again, being intentional, being determined. Don't give up too easily. I know it's hard, trust me. And there are people who do not even have the support that I had. I had so much support that even when I got here, I didn't have to think about buying a pillow, or buying food, or buying even bed sheet, because my favorite person, got all those things for me before, like came to pick me up from the airport and everything. So mine might be a bit unconventional, but then also like you can also build these relationships and this. So just be very intentional, be very committed and determined. And please keep your relationships, keep your connections. They are very important, especially when you get here after school. Can be so hard that you would even wish of going back to Ghana. But have people who have the information. Me, now I have Emmanuel, I have Fred, I have Prince, I have Vincent, I have like Kid. Like, I just have like a lot of people that I can call at any time.
Just a phone call away.
I'm at this stage. What do you think I
Yeah.
can do? What do you think I should do? If there was something that I told them earlier and then they found someone who could help me with it, they would call me back.
Yeah.
Oh, I know this person, reach out to this person. And it always helps me out. And so don't be a loner in the US. Like when you
Mhm.
come, we are very few here. And so like make use of these connections that you build. Don't just discard people. Oh, I'm here. So yes, that is
Yeah,
it.
that's
I'm
all.
the new boss. No, like you will struggle. At a
Yeah.
point you will struggle. You'll be looking for something you wouldn't get, but someone you know knows.
Exactly. All right, it's been a good conversation. That's the time Mary would have for us for today. So, we're going to do the draw, and hopefully, you get selected. So if you've not typed your name, if you've not typed it yet, so what you do is that you click on the like button, you follow or you subscribe, and then you type hashtag the Fred Effect, and this is how you're supposed to type it. So the hashtag, and then the T is capital, the or it's in caps, and then the F is also in caps. Others are written in the small letters, and then E will also be in caps. So we are going to do the draw, Mary, and then we select one person, and then we assist that person for free. We are doing this and every weekend. So if you're not selected this weekend, don't worry. Hopefully next week you get selected. All right, let's go ahead.
Fred, I think someone I think on Facebook had a question about how to contact graduate coordinators.
Okay.
So, when you go to these websites, at least US, you get a lot of information on these people, like on the school's website.
Mhm.
You can just get their email from the school's website. If let's say you wanted to do a master of accountancy, when you go to the school's website, the department or the school of business of account or accountancy, you will see like the coordinators, the professors, like everyone who works in that department or in that business school. And then like just pick the name of the program coordinator, and then their emails. Reach out to them, introduce yourself. Oh, hi. If the person's name is Fred, oh hi Fred, this is my name. I'm from Ghana. I'm a prospective international student, and I was reaching out to inquire about scholarship opportunities for this particular program that I'm interested in and everything. and and everything. So just basic. I mean, just write an email, introduce yourself, let them know you're interested. And then I mean, most of the time, or 100% of the time, they are very pleasant because
Yeah.
they want international students. And so they'll respond to you, and then like you can build a bond from there. That is a game changer. Like I think anyone who is yet to start application should definitely use that.
All right. Okay, so Kepas, you asked that question, and I think Mary has given a perfect answer to it. And thank you for asking. All right, so let's go ahead do the draw, and then we bring today's session to a close. Thank you for tuning in. Let's start. Let's see. Okay. Um, see who is being selected today. Oh, okay. Joseph Adomako. Shout outs to and congrats to Joseph Adomako. So Joseph, this is how you're going to reach out. You send me a direct message on Instagram. So the Instagram handle is the Fred Effect. We have about 16,000 followers. It's verified. So you send me a DM, and then the team will get in touch with you. We start your process from there. Remember, every weekend we will select one person which the team will access for free, either for the Fred Effect Mentorship Program for graduate applications, or the team will take your document to apply for a bachelor's degree for you if you have a high school qualification. So we'll be doing this every weekend. And congrats to Joseph. You are the winner for. So can people be typing congratulations instead of typing the hashtag Fred Effect? We finished with a draw. So congratulations to Joseph Adomako for being selected. So Mary, we are wrapping up. I really appreciate the connection I have with you. The time you spent on impacting other people's lives. Shout out to Anita. Anita benefited from your benevolence, and God bless you. Anita is doing so well, and there are thousands of people. You were telling me behind the scenes about people you met somewhere that you have already done mock interview for and all that. God bless you. Really appreciate your time. And so, final words to anybody who was able to tune in today, before we end it.
All right. So first of all, Joseph, congratulations. Like I envy you at this point. um, so I would just say thank you, Fred. What you're doing is very valuable, and we really appreciate your help. And then also, please don't give up throughout the process. Please keeping hope alive, and just keep, I mean, you don't have to do everything all at once. Take it step by step. Talk to people who are more or who have advanced knowledge in this process, and then like just take everything one day at a time, and then you're good to go. You will be fine. So please, guys, please follow Fred because he always has insightful content that you do not want to miss. So follow Fred and everything. Yeah. And then if you wanted to ask me a question, I think I'm on Instagram. I take time to
Yeah.
reply messages, but then I'll try.
So
So
what's the Instagram
you
handle?
just,
If you could share that.
sorry.
What's the Instagram handle?
I think you just, is it Annie Blog or something, or I don't know. I'm not
Yeah.
a social media. I'm not too advanced in social media, but yeah, you could just, I think Mary and Blagoji should be fine. I think Annie Blag will come up or something. Yes. Anything I'm very, very passionate about trying to take some of the burden off Fred. I mean, in
Yeah.
recent times I've not been doing so much, but
No, well appreciated, man. You did so well. So much well. You know, a lot of people when they're on the mock platform, like when I come, I'm going to help. But when you get here, life is, life in. But considering all the things you were going through and still were helping, I really appreciate. God bless you, man.
I was so happy to help Fred. I was so happy to help. So maybe in recent times I can try to
Yeah,
reach
that's
out
right.
and see
Yeah,
what you can keep
awesome.
doing to at least
That's-
lessen the burden on you, because I know it's a huge job. So yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mary. Thank you for making this happen. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me, Fred. It's an
All
honor.
right. Okay. All right. So it was a conversation with Mary Ann. She's a good friend working in one of the biggest firms. She's done with her school, studied accounting on a full scholarship. She mentioned the school. This session will still be live across all the Fred Effect social media platforms. So you can later on be able to watch this episode and all the other episodes. All right, shout out to Joseph Abdomakun. You're the winner for today. So please link up via Instagram, and then the team will take it from there. So friends, shout out to you watching on YouTube. Said this interview was insightful. Thanks, Fred, and thanks to Mary Ann. And he said from experience, what is the difference between MS accounting and MBA with an accounting concentration? So that was the time Mary had for us. I wish she was here to respond to this question. It depends on your background, though. So let's see if we can respond to more questions. Shout out to John. John is an amazing guy. We thank Mary. Yeah, thank you for coming through. Congrats to Joseph. And then Simon says, thank you and God bless you, Fred. Thank you to Joseph for tuning in. God bless you too. Let's see if we can respond to more questions. There was somebody saying, so Fred, you don't respond to questions anymore. So that was the time Mary had for us. And so that was why we had to end that. So, I picked questions. I was answering some of the questions, but today we're not able to share the link so you could join in. Thank everybody for tuning in. I'm still looking for some of the questions to respond to them. You said I have a question. On the program page, there are two emails, the head of department and another email of the faculty, which is the gallery coordinator of the program, because I have not gotten any reply. So normally the school will call it the head of the department or the graduate chair. It depends on the website. Normally, we are looking for the boss in the department. So if you have the graduate chair of the specific department email, that is the person you need to talk to. Thank you for asking that question. Let's see if we can respond to more. So yeah, we've looked at this one. All right, we had more comments today, so I'm trying to go through and look for some of the questions to respond to them. So thank everybody for liking. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for following. We'll do this every weekend. This is the Study Abroad podcast with the Fred effect. I need you to be positive and understand that everything will be fine. Mary was able to go through. You can also go through it. The Fred effect has been able to do it. You can also do it. And next week, I'll also have another person on to share their experience with you as well. We want to inspire you, want to motivate you. We are not going to put fear in you that we were able to get a visa approved, but you cannot get it approved. That is not how things are done on this platform. We strictly want to focus on, there are lots of negativities in the world already, right? You don't need to spend data time to watch such a platform and still we put in fear in you. For some of us, if somebody had put fear in us, we wouldn't have been able to do it. And I'm always grateful to the people who made it happen to me. Shout out to my friend, Isaac Asante. He was my TA back in University of Cape Coast. And then when I reached out to him, he told me what to do in order to get this process done. And he was super instrumental, picked me from the airport, got me accommodation. Shout out to Lois, currently in Texas. They were very helpful when I got into the US. Shout out to Mr. Augustine. Shout out to Augustine. He's an amazing gentleman, and he was very helpful as well. So people held our hands to help us. And so we are also willing to put in the work to be able to assist you go through the process. We wouldn't want you to go through the same struggle some of us went through, or that others are going through, when there's a way you can make it happen and life will be smooth for you. So yeah, thank you for tuning in. Remember, the Fred Effect team is willing to assist if you need help. So to be able to reach out, we do have a way you can schedule a one-on-one meeting. So you can use the link I'm sharing on the screen to schedule a one-on-one conversation. And then you can also send me a direct message on Instagram. So the Instagram handle is the Fred Effect. It is verified. We'll be happy to assist you. And then we have a collaboration with Argo Visa. So what happens is that it will be very sad if you go through this process and get your visa denied. Do not wait. Talk to a former visa officer before you go for the interview to talk to a visa officer. Listen, talk to a former visa officer before you go to the interview to have a conversation with a visa officer. So Argo Visa is a big team of former visa officers. They'll review your documents, and then they would let you know what you're supposed to do, say, so that you get your visa approved when you attend a visa interview. Use the link I'm sharing on the screen to book a conversation with the Argo Visa team. They'll be happy to assist you. Right. So we'll end it here. Please be positive and know that everything will be fine. My name has been Fred. This has been the Study Abroad podcast with me, the Fred Effect. I'll talk to you next week. Congrats to Joseph Adomako. I'll be waiting for your message on Instagram.